Namaste and welcome to Soul Journey, a place, a space for inner awakening and truth. Today I am in conversation with Carmen Anderson, whose journey from corporate success to deep spiritual awakening led her back to the Sacred Valley of Peru. Through sacred plant medicine, gene keys, and human design, she now guides others in healing, releasing ancestral patterns, wounds, and reconnecting with their true purpose. Let's begin this powerful conversation. Hello, Carmen. How are you? Lovely to have you on Soul Journey.
Thank
It's
you,
a spiritual
Moji. Thank you
platform,
so
and I'm
much.
so grateful that you're here. First of all, I found you God sent, God sent. It's a miracle. I mean, I don't talk to people like that, but I just found you and I said, I need to speak to her.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of messages from the global community, Jinkies global community, and yeah, I didn't feel like replying to everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw your message and I was like, oh, I wonder why the universe is putting me in front of this person. Because I have the Jinky 57, which you also have,
Yeah.
which is related to intuition. So I'm like, okay, my body's telling me talk to this person. So and now we're connected.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
happy.
lovely. So, tell me a little bit about yourself first, and then we will go further. Like, what were you doing? What made you turn towards this path? It's a very deep journey, very profound, and it needs full commitment. And how did you encounter this philosophy and even the plant medicine route? How did you start?
How did it all happen? It began with plant medicine. Yeah, I think it was like 6, 7 years ago.
Okay.
And I wasn't looking for it. The medicine found me. I found a retreat happening in Bali. I was living there at the time. And yeah, I just called the guy and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm like joining this Temazcal. And that was the first journey. And then during this journey, he told me that he worked with mushrooms. And I was like, okay. And I did a few deep journeys with him. And whoa, that was like a big awakening, I could say,
Yeah.
because it was a lot of releasing, a lot of ancestral memory from my mom's side. Yeah, a lot of messages came to me during that time. I mean, it wasn't just one day, but it was multiple ceremonies that I did with him. And I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was going crazy because I was being told that my throat chakra was opening. You know, the medicine told me that. And that I had you could say like calling, a path that I needed to follow. And it had to do with the new changes in the planet. And I was like, what the heck is this? You know, I think I went too far. So soon after that, about 5 years ago, I I met with some friends and they talked to me about the human design system. And yeah, they told me about my type and all of that. And I was like, okay, what do I do with that? And I didn't think much, but I kept doing this healing work with these men. And yeah, little by little, I got curious about human design, began learning about my type, which is called the manifestor, which is about 9% of the global population. And we're here to initiate processes, people. Mm-hmm. So I started like learning, and at the same time, I was going through like some chaos in my relationship with my husband. And I remember calling someone just to do a reading, you know, to talk about my relationship with him. And I was just going crazy, you know. I was like, oh my gosh, we've been together for so long, like 18 years, I think, at the time. And I was looking for answers. And the person that did the reading suggested to me the Jinkies. So I joined the course. And while I was doing all of these human design, Jinkies, I was also working with the medicines. So it seems like the three systems came together for me at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I began kind of like discovering more of my potential, my blockages, because plant medicine to me is the thing that help you clean up from all the conditioning. You know, when I say conditioning is things that were implanted in us, you know, through the government, school system, police department, just all the systems that have been running the planet for the last 400 years. So the medicine kind of like clears your pineal gland, you could say, a lot of memory from at a cellular level. So, you know, and through the gene keys, and also I know Hinduism, they talk about samskaras, you know, the
Yes.
memories that we
Yeah.
incarnate from other, you know, people in
Yeah.
our families. Mm-hmm. In one of my ayahuasca ceremonies, I was told that we bring together like 9 generations in, you know, in our DNA, in our blood. So yeah, I mean, it was all curiosity, you know, trying to understand what was happening. Then I was going into these shamanic journeys, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy, you know. I'm going into spirituality, you know, getting into portals, getting to see so much. Yeah, but the gene keys in human design, I would say, gave me the language to understand what was happening, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. But I hear, like what happens when I read about it and listen to people. My first question is that is it an addictive process? Because what we know from, from my childhood and the spiritual deities and all, they used to take all this and people do it for some festivals and all that back home. I'm from India. And there are certain products like they are using for hallucination and all that other than what they use.
Mhm.
But so is it an addictive thing if somebody goes through it, or is it just once or two times or four times a person might just delve into it to know and understand and then.
Mhm. I think the path is different for each person, you know. Some people don't feel the calling, other people feel the calling. And I had worked with 4 or 5 different medicines. And what I noticed in my journey is that, for example, when I work with mushrooms, when I was in Bali, I was doing a lot of journaling. So I was using microdosing, not a lot. I wasn't going too far. But what the mushrooms did is like shut down the left part of the brain where logic lives, and it opened up more of the right side of the brain, which is related to intuition and with our feelings and connection to the body. So what I found with working with just mushrooms is that I was going back into my childhood and healing a lot of parts of my childhood and the relationship with my parents. And you know, there was a lot of memories that came up from my childhood that yeah, I didn't heal and I didn't even know. So the medicine worked with me for a period of time. And then it was like, okay, you know, I think I'm done. So this is a beautiful chapter. And thank you very much. And yeah, I didn't use mushrooms for a while. Sometimes I do, but it's just like very little microdosing. And I do it just to connect with music. So each person, I think the medicines can support you on your healing journey as long as you do it with respect, you know, in a ceremonial setting. So I don't do it just randomly at a party. I don't even go to parties.
So you
So
have supervision, sorry, but do you have supervised, group of team of people helping you out around something a person might get scared, and I feel when you're connecting to your ancestors and, and spirit and the spirit world can be very scary.
you know, this is interesting because when you go onto these journeys, you are in a higher state of consciousness. So there is no mind. The logical side that is talking to you right now doesn't exist in that, um, how would you say it, state of consciousness. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I go into these healing journeys, it's like my body becomes the witness. I am observing what's happening, but I don't have there is no fear. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because the fear is a lower frequency. So
Hmm.
when you are in this place, for some reason, I never experience fear. I just watch what's happening. you know.
Mm.
And sometimes I have visions, not always. And I had seen some, you know, parts of me leaving my body, like memories, not like my physical body, but yeah, memories, you know. One of them was, I remember I had one ceremony when I was watching my mom, my brother, and my aunt. The three of them came up through that ceremony, and the medicine was showing me that I was clearing a lot of the cancer because there is like cancer problem in my family. So the medicine was clearing up all of that memory, you know, and the way it does it is through purging. So I was like throwing up all of that, you know, has been passed up in my DNA. So each journey is very unique, and yeah, you never know what you're gonna get into. But you know, it's part of my design to work with medicines. I have the code 47, which is it has like a strong connection with plant medicine. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I also want to ask you about the basics of, there is a connection between the human design and the gene keys. Many years ago, I did get my human design chart, from somebody, and had a course in that. But then I was going through gene keys. Kind of, it's very complex, very complicated for me. So, can you introduce a little bit about the human design and gene keys, in particular, when we are connecting ourselves to the world of to an unknown world of spiritualism, spirituality, in a way that we want to ascend and fulfill our purpose on earth.
to
And
me, human design is a system that kind of like tells you how you are designed to work here in planet Earth, in simple words. It's kind of like when you get a washer or dryer or a refrigerator, it comes with a manual. Same thing. Human design and gene keys, they have a manual, you could say, about you and your soul. So yeah, human design has many different layers, and that tells you about how you're designed to work. You know, how you are designed to make decisions, how you're here to function, basically. Gene keys is more about the frequencies of the codes. So the gene keys is linked to the it's like 64 archetypes that they're linked with the DNA. So in each of these codes, it has like different frequencies. It goes from the shadow, gift, and CD level. So to me, it's like a thermometer that it tells you how you're doing in life, you know? So when you go into contemplation with your codes, you're able to see when you are in alignment or out of alignment. So the more you contemplate and listen to your codes, the more awareness you get. And this is where, you begin to kind of like start unlocking your gifts. At first, you got to put attention to the shadow, to the areas of the parts of your life that are not in alignment. Let me see if I can give you an example. I have a code. It's the 45. It's in my radiance. And the lower frequency is dominance. So if I think about that code in particular, and I think about my relationships at work or business, in the past, I always had to be in charge of what was happening within my business. I could not delegate. I didn't know how to delegate. I had a really hard time trusting people. And so when I started like learning about that, about myself, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I have like people that are so bright, and I'm just kind of like closing the door for them, I'm not letting them show me their gifts. So this is one example. The highest frequency is called communion. And the gift frequency, what is the gift frequency? But it has to do with just cooperation, It has to do with just working as a teamwork instead of like me being the boss and me telling you what to do and all of that. So yeah, knowing my codes, knowing the different frequencies made me reflect and look within. Why am I doing this? And there is obviously fear behind all of this behavior. So yeah, it just allowed me to go super deep and just trying
So
to
it's
find.
more like astrology, right? Can we say that?
Say it again.
They are more like astrology, like we have a different type of astrologies in global,
Yeah.
one is Vedic astrology, Nadi astrology, Western astrology, I Ching is there. I
Mm-hmm.
Ching is another one.
Yes, we use some elements of astrology to calculate our profile, but there is other systems also, especially for the human design aspect. Yeah, there is the I Ching, Kabbalah, quantum physics. Can't remember what the other one is. Astrology. Yeah, there is five different uh, ancient wisdom that were brought together, and now we have the wisdom of human
It's pretty
design.
new, isn't it? I mean, I never heard about this when I was a child or when I was growing up in my, even in my college, I never heard about it. Is it very new or was it there?
Um, yeah, I think human design was brought by a guy. His name is Rauruhu. I can't remember his birth name, but I think about 40 years ago. I have to double check on that. And with the Gene Keys, I think Richard Rudd received the transmission around 20, 25 years ago. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
relatively
mean, I
new.
read about him and he just, I mean, what was he doing? Like he just received the transmission, like many people get, they get downloads. It just happens because of their past connection or their connection
Um,
with other stars or planets.
Yeah, I think there was like something was happening with planet Venus. He was riding the train, I guess, and I don't remember really well the story. But yeah, he was riding the train and then he kind of had some downloads and yeah, for about 3 days. And with Rauruhu, he had an encounter with, he calls it the voice, for about 8 days. So I honestly don't go so much into reading, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
so much because I feel like the wisdom, we all have the wisdom within, you know what I mean? And these systems are very beautiful. And to me, up until now, my what I came to realize is that as long as I have my body in balance, in alignment, I just need to follow my inner wisdom instead of giving my power away to other systems, Even though, I mean, I use these systems, but I always try to remember, the wisdom is within me. So yeah, I try just to kind of like self-reflect, go into meditation and find my own answers. So
So, with coming back to plant medicine, if a person goes through a ceremony with any particular plant, maybe I don't know very many plants other than mushrooms and ayahuasca. People go through these ceremonies and they get to know about the bigger picture of their own life, about the creator, and how does it?
like I said, many different people experience different things. So it's going to be very particular to your case. I can speak for myself and my journey. For me, the work I did with mushrooms opened me up a lot. So when I came to Peru 2 years ago, and I had my first ayahuasca ceremony. Actually, had two ceremonies that week. And I was told that I needed to come back to Peru because I needed to open a human design Gene Keys embodiment school. And I needed to bring plant awareness about plant medicine. That was the message I received through this ceremony. So each person is gonna get, some people will get messages, other people will just come once, do a cleansing. It's kind of like detoxifying your body, you could say.
Yeah.
And each person is gonna be very, unique, each path. Some people will be able to get, connection, and it all depends on how clean your body is. I mean, if you've been eating a lot of frozen food, for example, like a lot of things that have blocked your pineal gland, most likely, the medicine will just clear up all of that toxicity out of your body. So yeah, you can have like a much, your body can open up and you can be, like a vehicle to receive higher frequency information. To me, this is what ayahuasca does. This is what bufo does, it opens you up and then you're more receptive to all of this information. Because I'll tell you, before, I think human design and Gene Keys came to me the very first time, like 10 years ago. And I could not pass the first page. It was, too much for me. The second time someone brought it up like 7 years ago, I could not pass the first page again. Third time, when I'm like working with mushrooms, I'm microdosing, I'm journaling, I'm releasing, I'm clearing room in my body. Then I was like learning human design like this. I was like sitting 5-7 hours each day for 2 years, just all in with human design, doing courses, trainings, and all of that. And I was like shocked to see the shift. How the 2 times before I could not pass the first page, and then all of a sudden, mushrooms opened me up, and boom, like all the information just was like a bucket, being poured into my body. So it was nice to witness that, the contrast with or without plant medicine.
Yeah, so
So
again, here I have, it's just to do with what I've been listening and my own experience of understanding that do any spirits communicate with you at that time, or is it a telepathic field that you get connected to?
it's like a lot of telepathic work. I
Hmm.
get to hear. I mean, I have some codes in my design. For example, the 22 is highly acoustic. I get to hear sound and frequency. It's like this for me. Also have the 57, which is about intuition. My body knows. It's like boom, instantly, boom, information comes through me, and I get messages, and part of my calling is just to bring more awareness once again about plant medicine, and as a way of cleansing the body, And when I say cleansing the body, it's more like the ancestral memory that we carry in our DNA. Because I mean, when it comes to just releasing memories from this incarnation, I think that's possible. You can do it on your own. You don't need to go to plant medicine ceremonies. But if you want to go deeper, if there is a part of your life that you don't know why you're suffering, struggling, and you've like going through therapies, counseling, you're doing this course, that course, you're doing meditation, you're contemplating, and you still don't know why things are not moving along, I would say plant medicine. That's because it's going to take you deeper. Not only it's going to check the history from the moment you were born, but it's going to go deeper into your ancestral, memory. So, and this is what I got to see one time. I had 5-7 members of my family that they had crossed over already.
Yeah.
And the medicine brought up a memory of scarcity. And it just showed me, like you're carrying like the scarcity mindset of your grandma, your uncle, your grandpa. And it showed that like multiple people in my family. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And even one guy that I never got to meet because I was not born, but he died 5 years before I was born. But that was my mom's sister. He also came up through that ceremony. So I was clearing for him. It's crazy. Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very deep. In like when we are talking about the soul, do you feel the presence of your own soul that you are watching,
Uh, it's,
or how do you feel about yourself at that time?
um, there is not much. I mean, this is like a mental question, like it comes
Yeah.
from here. Once again, when you are in this higher state of consciousness, there is no mind, there is no thinking, there is no questioning.
So it's
It's just
all
like surrendering to whatever it is right there in that moment, And I'm just watching, witnessing. I have one code, it's the 47. It's related to the codon ring of alchemy. And through the Gene Keys, I learned that this is the group of souls. There are 4 codes in this codon ring. That we came here a lot of releasing, not only for us and our families, but also for the collective. So yeah, in one occasion, I had a deep ceremony because I had to help a bunch of souls in limbo that they couldn't cross over to the other side, and I could see the darkness and the medicine. Oh, I purged a lot that I felt dehydrated for like 2 days after. I was so exhausted. So it's just like through the, vomit that I get to clear for them.
Yeah.
And then I got to see all the souls going back into to source. And the light went from kind of like grayish into white light. It was so beautiful to witness that. Yeah.
And I also understand that there are entities like archons and all, they get attached. And how do these ceremonies take care of? Because wherever these ceremonies are there, these dark entities also, in my understanding, they if a uh, person's life is badly traumatized, or has been on the darker side and wants to experience this to make the changes, there will be entities there will be obstacles. So how do you deal with them? Or is it the
Yeah, I personally never dealt with any dark entity, but we have shamans, holding the space for us while we're doing the cleansing. And they usually come and, interfere when there is like a need. I haven't seen many occasions where they come and help. Maybe a couple times where they came and, help people, and they help the person purge, just release that dark energy. They do it. And, I've noticed that people, I mean, some of the shamans that I done work with, they have a particular code. There's the channel 1034. It's called the channel of awakening in the human design system. I have seen like at least 4 shamans with this particular channel, with these codes. So for me, in my case, if you go back to the codon ring of alchemy and just learn about this particular code and my calling, you could say, I came here to help release, not necessarily to open up the ceremony and open up the portals, but just came here to help purge, cleanse the energy. So I threw up for a lot of people. Sometimes the medicine tells me, you need to help this person. So I get to connect with the soul of that person, you could say, and I get to see sometimes vision of what that person is releasing. But once again, it's not a mental process. When I'm doing a ceremony, I'm connected somewhere else. I'm not here. It's not 3D reality, So I just learned to surrender little by little. But I've done a lot of ceremonies to get to this point,
Yeah, so it is a lot of cleansing process, and people must they must be seeing these changes happening once they come to a ceremony. Have you been in touch with somebody who went through a couple of journeys, steps, maybe different products or different plants, and then it's totally transformed their life from I will say from the negative side to the positive. Have you seen people? What did they think of themselves? Like how they managed to come out?
Yeah, I've seen one case of a guy. He's within the Jinkies community as well.
Okay.
And he when he came to Peru to do the retreat, he had a lot of he has the 47, the code 47 4 times. It's really heavy, really heavy. A lot of ancestral memory. And he had a lot of depression, and he had addiction to some capsules. I think it's called Xanax.
I don't know.
He had codependency to these pills for about 30 years. He wouldn't be able to go to sleep for 30 years. So we did a couple Cambo sessions and also 2 ayahuascas. And I've talked to him a few times. It's been a year at least since he came. And you can see how much better his life is. And the most important thing, aside from accumulating money, you could say, or material things, is like the inner peace. And he has that inner peace. I know another guy who had addiction to cocaine, and I've seen his progress just with bufo. Bufo is it's a frog medicine. It comes from a place in Mexico, I believe. It comes from the desert. This frog lives underground 10 months out of the year, and it comes up only 2 months out of the year. And what they do is like they take the venom from the frog, and it becomes crystals. And then we just get to smoke that. And I don't know what happens when you are in this journey, because for me, these journeys only last like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes,
Okay.
but something get reset in your nervous system. And whoa. I mean, this guy, cocaine addiction, gone. His body used to like shake. His nervous system was like this. His leg was always like this. And now he's just fine. Just fine. Yeah. But I would like to say that to me, the medicines are just cleansing your body, bringing your body into alignment. But I highly recommend people to do plant medicine or earth medicines and contemplation.
Yeah.
This is where I have like, I make a big deal out of this. Use human design, use Gene Keys, use astrology, use any system to help you ground all of these experiences.
Yeah. And does a person have to be physically fit? Because I feel that there is going to be a lot of release of energy, and the person will be depleted. And is he in a fit position to take on that load and burst of energy also? You have to be physically very strong, is it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, once again, this is a calling. It's a calling. There is like a lot of, there are questionnaires I've seen online. We also have a questionnaire just to ask people about their health in general, if they're on any medication, this and that. But to me, more than anything, is like listen to your inner calling.
Yeah.
Listen to, because there is a wisdom inside each one of us. And, sometimes maybe it's not the right time. Maybe your soul didn't choose to come and work with this in this incarnation. So that's why I never try to tell people, oh yes, we're doing this and that and this is going to do this for that. No. I'm like, just listen to your inner wisdom and you make that decision. And during that week, during the retreats, we eat really light. No salt, no sugar, no coffee. Is basically vegetarian. Sometimes we eat, fish, but it's very clean, the diet, to prepare the body.
Yeah. So, okay, that's good to know. I mean, meat is not encouraged at all.
No, because it's really dense. It's too heavy. And when you're going into a ceremony, into a plant medicine journey, it takes too long for the meat to digest. That's why we're like, no, I don't eat meat at all. But for those people that eat meat, we just tell them not to. Because the journey would be much easier. Otherwise, the medicine is just cleansing all the food that you put in your body. It's like it's clearing the pipes. It's clearing the pipes. And if you want to have, like a nice journey, I would say just go clean, which is, I mean, it's something that we should be doing every day,
So a person with high anxiety and depression, or maybe something like post-traumatic disorder, will benefit from this?
Yes, but they have to stop taking their medication and they would have to talk to their doctor. That's what I'm saying. This is an inner calling, if people are really determined, I want to cut this, I want to stop taking medications, I want to just get better, they're going to have to do their work before entering into a journey, So, but again, we have a questionnaire and we just ask a bunch of questions just to make sure that it's not high risk. And at the end of the day, I mean, some people want to, and they're willing to stop taking their medication, but they would have to talk to their doctor. Yeah, we're not here to give medical advice.
So if a person goes for a retreat, can you walk me through the process? What do you all do and how many days is it?
I mean, we have a PDF that explains everything, but basically it's a 7-day journey. And when they come, we pick them up from either the airport or their hotel in Cusco. Then we come to the valley. We've done 3 ceremonies last year, and we're doing a 4th one in June this year. And it's going to be in a nice private villa. And the entire week is just eating light. It's like detoxing the body, basically. And then we get into contemplation because we use the Gene Keys as part of the entire process. We also work with Kambo. Cambo is frog medicine. That is another medicine that helps detoxify the body. And we have, I'm not serving any of the medicines, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like bringing together the group, you could say.
Yeah.
But there is people that, for example, the Cambo facilitator has been doing it. He's done over 1,000 journeys. He's
Wow.
helped people for over 10 years. Yeah, the Bufo guy, he's been working with this medicine for about 13 years. So there is different people that will watch us, walk through us with us through this journey. And but yeah, we're working for this upcoming retreat. We're working with Cambo, ayahuasca, and Bufo, these three medicines. And then it's just yoga, stretching, somatic healing, allowing the body to relax before we enter in each one of these journeys. And then after the retreat is over, we'll continue with some kind of like one-on-one calls via Zoom, just to kind of help people integrate their journeys. And we will also have, I believe, a couple group calls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's all in details, and I can share with you the link if you want to put it at the end of this video.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. If there is a brochure that I can also share, it will be good.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once again, I mean, this is a calling, if people are feeling the call, yeah, I'm happy to talk to them, just to help them, realize if this is a journey that they want to take, or maybe this is not for them, Because for me, this is more than money. It's not about, how many people I can bring, but it's like, who is ready to go through this transformation,
Yeah, I totally understand. I respect and value that. Though I have never been, I don't have a calling to go in for, but I'm curious to know more about it. These ceremonies, I have met people who have, gone through similar journeys. And they have shared their good experiences. But when I watch at least one of them, I am not seeing much transformation.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you need to have something to help you with the integration process.
Yeah.
And otherwise, the medicine just help you, open up and relax. But if you don't know, which direction to go, you can get confused, And this is where human design and Gene Keys, they have a map that we can kind of like follow, just to help you remember what your soul chose for you to walk in this incarnation. And a lot of the times when you give people a report of the chart, a lot of them recognize the themes of their lives. They're listening to the recordings. They're like, oh, yes, that's true about me. Oh, this is how I behave. Oh, yes.
Gene Keys have got some very accurate information about me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't met anyone that says, no, this is not accurate, So far, everyone is like shocked.
Yeah. So if in Gene Keys, if a person knows that, yes, you have the inclination towards, maybe you could walk the path of awakening, and how can one use that information to develop? We know that, okay, these characters are there, or these attributes are there. Then what do you do with the information other than the ceremonies?
For example, with the Gene Keys and human design, I don't know how many codes the Gene Keys website or the corporation is using now, but human design has like 26 codes on your chart, and I believe the Gene Keys at least 20. I have to go back and look at the website because they keep adding courses and new codes. That's what I'm not like 100% accurate. But something that both systems have in common is like they remind you that the first 4 codes in your design basically represent 70% of your life. So they encourage us to begin there. But of course, I mean, you can just go and explore other codes in your design. But to me, it's like the beginning of a domino. When you have dominoes, all pile up one after another. So when you begin with the first and the second and the third, it's like boom, 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 and everything else begins unlocking in your design. So the first code is called the life's work. And the first code represent. This is the code that has the 70% of the energy, because it's, the day that you're born, the sun is like shining right on your chart. And this is the code, whatever code you have. I think yours is the 53, right?
Yeah,
53.
yeah.
So the life string of a 53, for example, is about beginning projects, right?
Yeah, and that's when you said that, and I said, wow.
That was so precise, and I didn't know anything about you. And through the codes, it basically tells you that you're here to initiate, not necessarily end that. So you can hand the project, the idea, to someone else. You know what I mean?
I delve into and I start and I create, and then okay, I'm done with this much part. Now, if somebody wants to do it, other people
I
can
know.
take on.
I also have the 53. I'm really good at beginning, initiating, but I don't have the physical energy or willpower, you could say, to continue with the same project for too long. In the past, I had a couple of businesses. One of them was vacation rental management, and I got so excited, and I decorated and I took the pictures and all of this. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to do the cleaning. I'm not going to do, like the communication. I'm not going to do this and that. So yeah, we had a team of people. I didn't know the gene keys or human design at the time, but that's what I'm saying. When you follow the wisdom of your body, sometimes you don't need any of these goals. But while you know, kind of like try to go back and reconnect with the wisdom of your body, you can use the codes to guide you. So, but yeah, the first code is, that main theme in your life that is gonna get you out of bed and you get excited to do, and you don't even have to get paid to do this. It just comes so natural. In my case, my first code is the 47. The 47 is related to shamanic work. And I have this code on my brand, which is related with my voice. Mm-hmm. And the other is the pearl that is related to career, you could say, business, what you do here. And this is what I'm doing. I host, plan, organize a retreat, but I have a team of people also, the facilitators that come and help. But I mean, long term, I'm looking at, okay, this is not sustainable for me, but I'm passionate about it. I believe in this. I need to find the people with the energy. There is some people that have the 42, the code 42. And yeah, I mean, when they're like 100% committed, they can help you finish. They can help you sustain that work. So yeah, it is fascinating because each code has a meaning, and it can be applied for the personal, business aspect, family. Yeah.
And so how many days did you say the retreat was for? Like
7 days.
7 days.
7 days. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen people that stay longer here in Peru, because now with the internet, a lot of people can work online and
that is true. So it was lovely talking to you. So how would you sum up everything together, put everything together, like the human design, gene keys and the ceremonies, in particular for spiritual growth and ascension?
For me,
don't believe in it.
For me, once again, because the 47, which is a very shamanic key, I have seen not only the transformation in myself, but other people as well. Plant medicine is kind of like, this is your body, okay? And human design, they call it conditioning. Conditioning is like everything that we learn from society, home, school, family, neighborhood, you name it. So this is your body. And if there is a lot of information that you have picked from, people in your family, around, teachers, whatever, in order to make room for something new, you have to empty that, the information, the conditioning. And this is what plant medicines do. It helps you clean your body. So you have room for something new. And in this case, human design gene keys to me is like high frequency work. And you're open, then you see how you don't even have to be looking at your design. I mean, I usually just, before I was looking, reading, and everything was in the mental plane, but now it's like my body, I have to take care of this body. So it helps me make the right decisions. Yeah.
So which particular plant medicines work better than the other, or are they at the same, this thing?
For me, we're going to be working with bufo in ayahuasca. For me, bufo resets the nervous system. I've seen it. Ooh, yeah, a lot of fear gets taken away. And this is again, this has been my experience with the medicine, where I've seen so many fears, and just it's kind of like expands the fascia, in the body. So if there is like memory deep at a cellular level, it just feels like an accordion opening up. This is the way I experience this medicine. And it just resets, everything in your body. So when you come back, you're like, whoa, I feel more at peace. Things that used to trigger me don't trigger me anymore. There is more compassion, there is more understanding, there is more patience. It's just recalibrating the body. That's why I encourage people, if they feel the calling, they don't need to come to Peru. Maybe there is other places in the planet where they can do this work. um, Try with that again, if it's part of your path, and then you can bring human design, gene keys, astrology, any other system. Really, it doesn't have to be these systems, just to help you remember why you came here at this time, why you reincarnated.
Peru has a special significance, right, for the mountain, the Machu,
Machu
what,
Picchu.
yeah.
uh, No, we are in the Sacred Valley, like 5, 6 hours away from Machu Picchu. But yeah, I mean, some people will probably go after.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been there before with a group, 1 or 2 groups, I think.
Is it,
Um,
does it impact like where people are having the ceremony, like in Peru near this place, or there is a place that Sedona as well in Arizona?
mhm. It's called it's in the Sacred Valley. It's near Calca. Calca is the main little town. Yeah.
So
So
there is a portal or something, some energy
yeah,
happening there. What?
yeah, the energy is really high. If you look at the ley lines, Peru and Bali connect. If you go look at the map,
Okay.
so yeah, I mean it's not necessarily here in this town, but some hours away from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the Incan civilization, had their home here in this land. So there is a lot of wisdom. The energy is really high here. You can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, I've seen people that had come just, for a little period, and they don't do any medicine work, but they still feel the shift because the frequency is really high.
Yeah, there are
So
places where we go and just walk in and the energy just shifts. You feel very light, even mentally and physically, you feel very light. And
yeah, because I mean, when you connect to Mother Earth, if you just get barefoot, put your feet on the soil, you're connecting to the wisdom of Mother Nature. You've heard of the Schumann resonance. It's like the frequency of the planet. So when you put your feet on the soil, in nature, it doesn't matter where you are in the planet. You're just bringing your body back into alignment. It kind of like recalibrate your body also.
yeah,
That's why, I mean, I usually put my feet 20 minutes. I try to do it daily,
okay.
just to kind of like, bring me back into balance. So I'm not going like too high, too low. So
Yeah,
it's just like at peace,
yeah,
hmm
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was lovely talking to you today, Carmen.
Oh, thank
There's so
you.
much of information out there, and there's lots to learn from you. Hopefully, we
Thank
can meet
you.
again and discuss a little bit more about the plant medicine, maybe specifics.
hmm Yeah, and I also work with my friend. His name is Eduardo,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's in Brazil, and he is an astrologer. He's been doing this work for over 20 years, and he's the lead facilitator during the retreats. I'm more like the organizer. Yeah.
Okay.
But I also talk to people, and, during lunch or dinners, we pull charts and we're just like decoding. It has become like second nature to us. We just pull
Yeah,
anything and
I
we
can
sell
I
it.
can very well relate to and understand. It's like coming home together. Uh,
Yeah. But to me, I mean, honestly, sometimes less is more. Before I used to accumulate so much information, and I still have it here. But to see big transformation sometimes is like one little step. What can you do today, this week, this month, that can really shift your reality, instead of like, oh my gosh, I have this code, this code, this code, this. I'm like, just begin with the top four, and and not even the four, just begin with the first one and the second, you know? So it's just kind of like slowing down, and yeah, and little by little, you're going to start getting insights and all of that. I mean, you're going to still see some changes in your life contemplating without plant medicine. But what I noticed, the process is much slower than when you do the clearing of the body first. It's
Yeah,
just,
because you're clearing so many patterns, like maybe you get to know them and you are able to clear them with that. So
mm-hmm,
I am thinking about the causal and the supracausal body that we talk about.
mm-hmm,
Like we have a subtle body, a physical body, and then we have these causal bodies, and the causal body has got layers of these karmic patterns, and whatever that we have got from our lineage,
mm-hmm,
imprints and all that we have taken on. So if they can be cleared, then you are pretty much liberated. Most
mm-hmm.
of it, you are able to take wise decisions, you are able to live your life, serve your purpose.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many somatic healing techniques that can help you clear, a lot of memory from on a cellular level. But
Mm.
once again, I mean, I've done a lot of work with multiple modalities over the last 15 years. And to me, ayahuasca and bufo have been the most powerful on my journey and people I know. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. But again, I know it's not for everyone, but those that feel the calling, I would say go find your, the place, the person that could help you and guide you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Always do it in a ceremonial way, people that kind of like follow the tradition, and they're not doing it just one weekend, but people that practice this is their pattern. How do they say it? Pattern and bread or something like that. Yeah, people that do this for a living.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We will meet again. Well,
Yes.
thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for so
much.
much of your time and sharing your loving energy with us. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful to Source for connecting me to you. To know more about all this.
I'm super eager to see what else we can co-create together. Because
Yeah,
I was looking at your codes. I mean, I don't remember all, but I think you had the 54. And at a higher frequency, I mean, it could be one of the most spiritual people out there. And that's yours. That's your code. Yeah. And you have the 57, which is all about intuition, highly, highly intuitive. I have it multiple times in my chart. And yeah, again, my body's in alignment, I can hear boom, boom, like when something is true, like this, and before I used to question everything with my head. Now it's like the body's talking, shut up, mind.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
thank you again for
All
the
right.
opportunity. And yeah, let's see what else, the universe brings to us, and what we're here to co-create. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, thank you.